this month I'm doing how to solve any time problem. And that means every Tuesday, I will have a new video, a 4-minute video on the most common time problems. And every Thursday, I will be doing an Instagram live. Except for today, I'm doing it on Friday. And all of this information is available. Will be available on my profile page in Instagram. And there's a link, and then you'll have all of the information about the whole month of how to solve any time problem. Okay, so this week is about I have so much to do. Now, this is a time problem I've had, and this is a time problem my clients have had. And the solution to that is to take an hour at the beginning of your week and plan your time. And this will actually save you time. And the reason that it's going to save you time is your brain is designed to plan ahead of time, and it's going to make the best decisions for you ahead of time. So for example, it's the weekend or it's Friday, and if I were to plan for the weekend, I would exercise. I would exercise, try a new recipe for my family and things like that. It's going to make those decisions. And so when you plan it at the beginning of your week, it's going to make the best decisions about how to utilize your time. And so the process for planning, taking that hour in the beginning of the week, is a 2-step simple process. Is you write out everything you have to do. And when I mean everything, I mean literally everything: showering, all that stuff, transferring it to your calendar and putting it in the date and time that you're going to do it, and putting it in blocks of time. And this will essentially get rid of your to-do list, and then you just kind of follow your calendar. So my tips for the planning process is, when you go to plan, you take that hour at the beginning of your week, is that it's your focus time, which means that you don't have your notifications on your smartphone. You're not listening to a podcast or watching a video or anything like that. You're not minding your kids if you have kids or anything like that. It's purely you're focused on that planning. Now, sometimes some of my clients have self-diagnosed themselves with ADHD, that they get distracted and things happen. Well, if that happens to be your case, what I recommend is practicing this focus time with just this one thing. Practice turning off your notifications, not dealing with distractions that are not emergencies and things like that during this time. And in the upcoming weeks, I will have tips on handling distractions as I come up. But I recommend is just consistently trying this one time per week to see how it goes with focusing, and get consistent at it and develop your brain to train itself to be able to focus. And then the second tip I have around planning is, well, actually it's a question I often get, is I don't know how long some things are going to take. And that is sometimes, our brain will go there, especially when it comes to bigger things that we want. So I have an example. I wanted to do this Instagram live, and I did not know how to do an Instagram live. First of all, I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't know how long it was going to take me to kind of get there to finally doing one. And so the trick is to break that down into really small steps. Now, we've kind of heard, I think a lot of us, break things down into smaller steps. So we actually really need to do that. And the way you've broken it down into a smaller step is if you can have a tangible result at the end of that step. So for example, I didn't know how to use Instagram Live. I didn't even know what buttons or where the buttons were, the settings that I needed to have and things like that. So I needed to have instructions. So a list of instructions to have. And then I wanted some tips. I wanted to know what would make a pretty good Instagram Live. So I looked up some tips, and I wrote down, and I wanted 5 tips. So I had a tangible result of knowing the instructions and having 5 tips. And I estimated that it would take me about 30 minutes to look this up on the internet. And so when you break it down into those smaller steps with knowing what the result is, your brain will automatically solve, I think just getting the instructions and about 5 tips for Instagram Live would take me about 30 minutes. And then the next step would be to plan my content. So I put in an hour. I think it'll take me about an hour to plan out my content, et cetera, et cetera. And so then your brain can go to plan for that. And so I have the video up on my my profile page in Instagram for how to solve for I have so much to do. And in that link, it won't take you off Instagram. You'll be able to watch that video right there in the app. And you'll also be able to see the schedule. And so I'll see you next week for our next Instagram Live on tips on how to solve any time problem. See you soon.